Welcome to a journey into the unknown, where reality blends with fiction, and the boundaries between what is real and what is imaginary become as blurred as the lines on an ancient map. Today, we'll dive into a world of mystery and surprise, exploring countries that many believe to be mere figments of human imagination. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about geography. Our first destination takes us to a kingdom hidden deep within the Himalayas. Imagine a place so isolated and mysterious that many doubt its existence. We're talking about Bhutan, a country that seems straight out of the pages of a fairy tale. With a population of just 772,000, Bhutan is smaller than many cities around the world. But don't be fooled by its size. This small kingdom holds secrets and traditions that challenge modern understanding. Did you know that Bhutan is the only country in the world that measures its wealth not by gross domestic product, but by gross national happiness? It's true. While the rest of the world chases numbers and statistics, the Bhutanese seek a balance between material and spiritual well-being. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Bhutan was one of the last countries in the world to introduce television and the internet, doing so only in 1999. Imagine a place that remained practically untouched by Western influence until the end of the 20th century. And what if I told you there's a country where time seems to have stood still? A place where medieval traditions are still practiced daily, and modernity seems like a distant whisper. Welcome to San Marino, a nation nestled in the heart of Italy, so small and peculiar that many consider it an invention. With just 33,600 inhabitants, spread over a mere 61 square kilometers, San Marino is one of the smallest countries in the world. But don't be deceived. What it lacks in size, it makes up for in history and peculiarities. Founded in 301 AD, San Marino proudly claims to be the world's oldest republic still in operation. Imagine walking through streets that have witnessed over 1,700 years of history. And as if that weren't enough, San Marino has not one, but two heads of state. That's right, the country is governed by two captains regent, elected every 6 months. A tradition dating back to the 13th century and still alive today. But perhaps the most intriguing characteristic of San Marino is its survival. How has such a small nation managed to maintain its independence for so many centuries, surrounded by powerful empires and kingdoms? The answer may lie in its steep mountains and diplomatic cunning, making this microstate a geopolitical enigma. Now, let's travel to the other side of the world, to a country that many swear is an elaborate internet joke, Tuvalu. Located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Tuvalu is so remote and so small that its existence seems to defy logic. With a population of just 11,200 spread across 9 coral atolls, Tuvalu is the third smallest country in the world in terms of population. Its total land area is only 26 square kilometers smaller than many urban parks. But what makes Tuvalu truly fascinating is its fight against time. With an average elevation of just 2 meters above sea level, Tuvalu is on the front lines of climate change. The ocean waters are rising, and this tropical paradise could become the first country to completely disappear due to global warming. Imagine an entire nation fighting not just for its identity, but for its very physical existence. Tuvaluans face the real possibility of becoming climate refugees in the coming decades, leaving behind their homeland, culture, and millennial-old traditions. Curiously, despite its small population and remote location, Tuvalu has an unusual source of income. The country earns millions of dollars annually from its .tv internet domain, which is highly sought after by media companies worldwide. It's as if Tuvalu's digital future is securing its survival, while its physical future remains uncertain. But what if I told you about a country that exists, and yet doesn't exist? A place that is recognized by some, denied by others, and lives in a geopolitical limbo that defies understanding? I'm talking about Transnistria, a strip of land between Moldova and Ukraine that declares itself independent, but is not recognized by any UN member state. With a population of about 470,000, Transnistria is an enigma on the map of Eastern Europe. Officially part of Moldova, this region declared itself independent after the collapse of the Soviet Union, but its status remains contested to this day. Visiting Transnistria is like taking a trip back in time. Statues of Lenin still dominate the squares, the hammer and sickle still adorn public buildings, and the Soviet spirit seems to permeate the air. It's as if a piece of the USSR has been frozen in time, preserved as a living museum of an era that the rest of the world has left behind. But the most intriguing thing about Transnistria is its own currency, the Transnistrian ruble. Imagine a currency that only has value within an unrecognized territory. Transnistria's colorful plastic notes are a curiosity for collectors, but a constant reminder to its inhabitants of the economic and political limbo in which they live. And what if we could visit a country that exists only for a few hours a day? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? But that's exactly what happens with the Principality of Sealand, a platform of concrete and metal in the North Sea that declares itself an independent micronation. Sealand has an official population of just 27 people. Originally built as a naval fortress during World War II, this structure was occupied in 1967 by Paddy Roy Bates, who declared it an independent principality. The most fascinating thing about Sealand is how it challenges our notions of what constitutes a country. With no recognized territory, no permanent population, and no international recognition, Sealand exists in a gray area of international law. Yet, it issues passports, has its own currency, the Sealand dollar, and even once had a national football team. But the mystery of Sealand goes beyond that. During high tide, much of the structure is submerged, leaving only the upper part visible above the waves. It's as if the country literally disappears and reappears with the rhythm of the tides, a geographical enigma that challenges the imagination. Now, let's travel to a place that many swear is an invention of the internet, North Sentinel Island. Located in the Bay of Bengal, this small island of just 70 square kilometers is shrouded in mystery as dense as the jungle that covers it. What makes North Sentinel so fascinating, and at the same time so unbelievable to many, is the fact that its population, estimated at between 50 and 400 people, lives in complete isolation from the rest of the world. The Sentinelese, as they are called, reject any contact with the outside world, fiercely defending their territory against any intrusion. Imagine a people who live as our Stone Age ancestors did, without agriculture, without modern technology, without writing. A people who are believed not to have even mastered fire. How is it possible that in the 21st century, there exists a human group so isolated, so disconnected from the rest of humanity? The Indian government, which administers the island as part of the Andaman and Nicobar territory, has prohibited any visits or approach. The only images we have of the Sentinelese are aerial photos or taken from a distance at sea. It's as if we're observing an alien world, so close and yet so inaccessible. But what if I told you about a country that exists only in the hearts and minds of its citizens? A place with no fixed territory, no defined borders, but with a dedicated population and a rich culture. I'm talking about the Empire of Atlantium, a micronation founded in Australia in 1981. Atlantium describes itself as a global empire with citizens in over 100 countries. It has no contiguous territory, but claims a small rural property in Australia as its provincial capital. What's most intriguing is that Atlantium does not seek to replace existing governments, but to create a parallel global citizenship. With its own currency, the solidus, flag, constitution, and even postage stamps, Atlantium challenges our understanding of what constitutes a country. Is it a social experiment? A critique of the nation-state concept? Or something else? The fact is that for its citizens, Atlantium is as real as any other country. And what if we could visit a country that exists only on the internet? Welcome to the Republic of Kugelmugel, a micronation consisting of a single spherical house in Vienna, Austria. Founded by artist Edwin Lippberger in 1984, Kugelmugel was born as a protest against bureaucracy when Lippberger refused to obtain a building permit for his spherical house. He declared the sphere an independent republic, issued his own stamps, and proclaimed himself president. Today, Kugelmugel exists mainly as an artistic concept and a commentary on the boundaries between art, architecture, and politics. The sphere, just 7.68 meters in diameter, is surrounded by a fence and a border sign, creating a surreal image of a tiny country within a large European city. But perhaps the most mysterious of all fake countries is one that many swear they've seen on old maps, but which seems to have vanished without a trace. I'm talking about the mysterious Bermeja Island. Supposedly located in the Gulf of Mexico, 100 kilometers north of the Yucatan Peninsula, Bermeja Island appeared on maps for centuries. It was described as a small circular island, about 80 square kilometers. But here's the intriguing detail. No one can find it today. Modern expeditions to the site where the island should be have found nothing but open ocean. There are no traces of a submerged island, no geological evidence that an island ever existed there. It's as if Bear Maya simply disappeared from the face of the earth, leaving only a question mark on ancient maps. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the island was erased by powerful interests because its location was strategic for oil exploration. Others believe it was a cartographic error that persisted for centuries. Whatever the case, the mystery of Bermeja Island remains unsolved, fueling the imagination of adventurers and conspiracy theorists alike. As we conclude our journey through these mysterious lands, we're left with a profound sense of wonder. These fake countries, whether they exist only in legend, as micronations, or as unrecognized territories, challenge our understanding of what it means to be a nation. They remind us that the world is not as solid and predictable as we often believe, that there are still places where the boundaries of reality blur and where imagination reigns supreme. So, the next time you look at a map, remember, not everything is as it seems. There may be more hidden within those borders than meets the eye. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that challenges your perception of the world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop being curious.